Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank, number 33. This week, I have something a little different for you guys. I got into a discussion with my friend Paul Morrissey. He's a comedian, first and foremost, but he's also, no, that's second. First and foremost, he's a player on the Comedians League basketball team that I'm on called Sean Kemp's Kids. We call ourselves that because more than half of us are from the Seattle area. And because Sean Kemp has played there for a lot of his career in Seattle, and because he has so many illegitimate kids, that we thought it would be a funny name for a team. And we were right. So he came over to talk about his sports journalism career. He used to be on the news. He used to do the sports. It's kind of a cool job to have. But we got into this long discussion, and at the first hour of it was just talking about his career, I guess, as a college basketball player. So what I did is I split these podcasts up. The first episode is just going to be about his college basketball days. We just talked about that for like 45 minutes, and then I'm going to have another episode, call it episode 34, which will just be about the sports journalism stuff. And then we got into another 2-hour-long discussion about moving to New York and doing stand-up comedy in general, and also about Catholicism. We got into not really an argument about Catholicism, but I just went off on a rant because I hate it. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to have this episode is number 33, I guess, and the next episode I'm going to release on Wednesday as number 34, and then I'm just going to have bonus content on Friday because we talked for a long, long time. So in terms of announcements, here's what I got to say. Please check out arithegreat.com for all the extra information and stuff, and stuff about where I'm touring and things. Also, extra details, I'm sure I'll have some clips of Morrissey and I on there, or of Morrissey doing stand-up. Also, my Storyteller show is Wednesday, December 3rd. No, Wednesday, December 7th. That's what it is. So please come out. It's my favorite show in Los Angeles to do. I keep it $5 because it's really experimental, and all these comics are doing stories for the first time ever, and they're hilarious, but I don't want to put any pressure on them to have to do tried and true material. So this one is called Deflowered. The series is called This Is Not Happening, and this one's called Deflowered. It's all stories about how we lost our virginity. I'm doing it. I host all of them. John Reap from Last Comic Standing, the winner of Last Comic Standing, I think season 3. He's doing it. Steve Renazzisi from The League on FX will be there doing it. Kevin Christie, who makes all those rad posters for the shows, he's going to be there. And Mark Maron is doing it from the WTF pod. I hate giving credits, but you know what I mean. There's going to be a bunch of great comics there. And I'm trying to get a girl. I asked Christina Pazitsky, but she's out of town. And then Sarah Silverman didn't seem interested when I asked her. But either there'll be a girl or another guy. Either way, it's going to be amazing. So please come. Tell your friends in L.A. December 7th. It's awesome. And that's it. That's all. That's everything. I'm having a UFC Hunt for the Edible on December 3rd. My friend Mayhem Miller is making his return to the UFC. So I am having a Hunt for the Edible. If you want details or information on that, follow me on Twitter. That's pretty much the only place I'm going to advertise it because it's illegal what I'm doing. My Twitter name is Ari Shaffir, at ARISHAFFIR. I'm giving away pot edibles at a UFC and hiding them as a scavenger hunt. It's some of the most fun you could ever have. But that's it, everybody. So that's all the announcements. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank, number 33. We're playing basketball. All right, here we are.
Here we are.
Paul Morrissey.
Hey, what's up?
Thanks for joining me. I'm going to talk to you today about being like a journalist or whatever you were. What the fuck were you?
I had a lot of jobs. I don't know what should I settle on.
I think it's the sports journalism shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people asked how I got into it.
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
I should say this. First of all, Paul Morrissey is the point guard or the shooting guard for the Sean Kemp's Kids in the Comedy League, Basketball League.
Yeah.
Are you shooting guard or
Point guard?
I guess point. What is Brandon then? He's 4'1".
He's a shooting guard.
He's the shooting guard?
That guy's a shooter. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'll pass and let him shoot. I guess basically how I got into it was, I didn't want to be a news reporter, obviously. I wanted to be a sports guy. This was, we're about the same age range, so it was like ESPN was just getting really big at that point.
When was this, right out of college?
I guess this is like high school, college age. You're watching Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann and those guys in ESPN, and it's like, oh,
My
man.
parents never had cable.
Oh, really?
So I always, so like all that, when ESPN got humongous, I never really really knew about those guys. Like Chris Burr, I just knew about them, but I wouldn't I wasn't familiar. So Dan Patrick, all those people, I'm like sort of like they're not huge celebrities in my mind. I know they are.
Well, it was one of those things where I was like, I always knew. I mean, my first thing, I really wanted to be like an NBA basketball player. Like my dad was a high school coach, and I just lived in.
Your dad was a high
gym.
school basketball coach?
Yeah, and then later
really?
he was a college coach. He was my college coach for a year.
Where did you play?
I played at 4 different schools.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get thrown out for bad behavior?
It's very
you just transferred to try to get more PT?
Yeah. No, I was a starting point guard for 4 different schools.
Really?
I started 120 games or something strange.
What division?
I was junior college, Division III. The Binghamton was transitioning Division I when I started for them.
So was that Division I or still no?
They just played a mixed schedule, so we were
okay.
still not an official Division
I school.
School. No,
You played against a bunch of Division I schools.
a couple, yeah.
Okay.
We were in like the SUNYAC conference, so you play against. It was like around the same time like Albany and Buffalo and all those schools that are Division I now.
I love how all the cities and even roads and stuff in those areas and all the schools up in those areas are just named after Indians that we wiped out. Like any word, Buffalo, I know that whatever it is, like these all come from India. Uniata, what is it?
Oneonta, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I
just
went
some
to
massacre.
school. If you want me to list, I was thinking about doing like a guide of New York State colleges because I went to so many.
You are.
I went to Hartwick College. I was starting point guard for Hartwick as a freshman.
Yeah.
I was starting.
I thought you played for SUNY Binghamton as a freshman.
Well, no, not as a freshman.
Oh, okay.
Freshman year is Hartwick College.
Okay.
And they were Division I soccer. I saw Alexi Lawless play against Hartwick.
That's probably one of the biggest names you can drop in the soccer world.
And a guy that was in my dorm was the fullback on the World Cup team. Mike Burns, the guy's name is.
Yeah.
And on like 2 or 3 World Cups. So soccer was a big soccer school. And so my sophomore year, my dad ends up coaching Broome Junior College in Binghamton.
Broome,
yeah.
Okay.
So I ended up transferring.
So you could play for your father?
Yeah.
Did that get as much press as Ken Griffey playing with his dad? Or
I think a little less.
Okay.
But the thing was, basically, I was like 140 pounds coming out of high school.
Yeah.
But I was all state in New York. Like I averaged like 22 points a game.
140 pounds. That's scrawny.
Yeah.
Okay. You're short. How tall are you?
5'8.5", 5'9".
Okay.
So yeah, way too small and just very white looking.
Yeah, you don't look like you can play anything.
Even
you
if I was like ripped,
Uno.
I wouldn't look like I would be like a great player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was very, it was a thing. Like when, all my black friends or whatever, we would go to the park and we would hustle. They would put me on the team 2-on-2 and they would bet on our team and stuff.
Really?
Like, we used to do that all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like White Men Can't Jump?
Yeah, pretty much.
That was my favorite movie for like 4 years.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
So they called me Billy Hoyle.
Really?
Or Snow. They called me Bird. Or there was like a 4 or 5 year period. That's all I did is play basketball. Like just out in the parks
all the time.
Or go.
Would black people get mad at you if you like stole like a pass from them or blocked
just
a shot?
in general, like because if you're a big guy and you're scoring tons of points, but if you're a smaller guy, especially if you're younger, like I was playing against a lot older guys, they would just start like just ripping. So it's a very tough thing. You got to have guys.
When I was at my best, I played at Sligo Creek Park in Maryland, and it was just like that's where you could play with black people. It wasn't like dangerous or anything, but to like upper middle class Jews, it was like you went to the park, to play ball. But every time I block somebody's shot, they're like, I know it's your ball anyway, but it's a foul. I'm going to call a foul. Even if it's totally clean, everybody knows it. They would never accept a short, not short, but like scrawny Jewish kid.
Yeah. And it is like it's street cred. Like
Yeah.
you have until I played there for months and months. You know, like a lot of the guys, especially my, there's a guy King Rice that was a starting point guard for
I remember
North
King
Carolina.
Rice.
He was
Yeah.
from Binghamton, so that was the park I was playing in against like
That's why I knew
guys
him.
like that.
What year did he play? Did he play on their championship team when they won
yeah, it
against?
was like him and Rick Fox and all those guys. Yeah, they had a good team.
It was like 92 or 94, 93.
A little earlier than that, even maybe.
Really?
Yeah, like he was there like 88 to 92, maybe something
Okay,
like that.
that was my high school. I was a humongous Tar Heels fan in high school.
And he
That's
looked
why I know
like
his
that
name.
when he was a freshman in high
Looked
school.
like what?
He looked like he was a 6 foot, like he was all state football, baseball,
Oh, yeah.
basketball. Like he could have played any sport if he wanted to. That King Rice was incredible.
What a great name too.
Yeah, really.
I think his name was King David Rice. That was his full name.
Really?
Fucking yeah. Every once in a while, black people get it right.
But he
They're
was
like, way to
like
think outside the box.
I think his dad was like a white like cop and his mom
Really?
was black or so. Yeah, it was like some strange mixture.
And he just
But
got
it
all the
worked.
black.
He was light.
What did he look like?
He's
Did he?
pretty light skinned, I think.
All right, I believe you. I
Ari's
don't,
looking it
I
up
don't need to
now.
look him up. I want to look him up now just to remember what he was like. That's so long ago. I haven't heard that name in so fucking long.
Yeah. So those were and I remember like there was one game where I scored on him once, and people my age knew I was pretty good, but he was just coming back for the summer. So I remember like I tried to cross him over and then go by him, and he just like grabbed me.
He just grabbed you?
Yeah.
He's like,
And it was
this won't be happening right
He
now.
was just, this is college defense right here.
King Right. All right, images.
He must
is that
be,
him?
I think he's a coach at Vanderbilt. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Oh, good for King Rice.
maybe. Oh wait, this says
On the pictures, it shows him getting dunked on. But
Oh,
he
that's
played it.
J.R. Reed.
Yeah, but why was he being? Oh, he was just tagged on it. J.R. Reed was a monster at UNC.
Is that
A
Scottie
monster.
Pippen? Is he dunking on Pippen?
Is that the Sports Illustrated cover? Who is it on?
I don't even know. Scottie Pippen played in like some crazy little school.
Yeah, some nothing. No, that's not Scottie Pippen. That's not Scottie
There's
Pippen.
another guy almost as ugly as Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, with the flat face. The nose takes up most of the face. Just flat and wide.
Okay. So and I worked at a YMCA, the JCC. I played.
Really?
I played basketball for a.
I got hustled once by a kid that looks like you. Just some kid. I was 17. He was probably like 12. He's like, let's play horse for $5. I was like, I'll crush you, okay. And then he won. I was like, all right, I'll get my money from a car. He's like, you're not going to leave, are you? I'm like, no, I'm not going to leave. And then I was like, oh, I could leave? And then I was like, oh, and then I just left. I feel bad about it.
It was, but it was a good thing. Like I was out until like 3 a.m. We would play like the JCC. All the religious kids, they would keep the gyms open because they want them to stay out of trouble.
Oh,
So
really?
we would play. I played on a Nazarene church team. Like they just hustled me on and pretended I went to their church. I played at this. There's this college called Practical Bible where we just play from like midnight to 2 a.m.
Really?
And, yeah.
Will somebody give you sermons while you played?
No, they
Yell at
wouldn't.
you
They
from
would
the
just keep the
sidelines?
gym open because kids were out doing drugs and drinking, and we just wanted to play basketball, so they would just let us play. So. And
That's
I
the
worked.
kind of hustle that Dan showed when he went to the Lion's Den that one time. No, who went to the Lion? Oh, fuck it. Who
The
cares?
Lions did.
Who went to the lion cage and freed somebody? I don't know who it was. I don't remember. Daniel.
that a
it was
Bible
Daniel.
thing?
Yeah, Daniel. That was his
Okay.
name. It wasn't
Yeah,
Dan.
I didn't read it.
Okay.
I'm Catholic. I don't have to, right?
No, you
That's
don't
the
have
thing.
to. The original Testament, you can ignore that completely.
So yeah, and then I worked summer camp. I worked Rutgers, Seton Hall. So I would just like referee games and then coach the kids and then play basketball with like.
Oh, you'd referee.
all
That's why you
these
get so mad at the
NBA
refs in our rec league. That's why you get so angry at them.
Well, that's because also
Nobody gets as angry as you do.
I didn't meet it. Well, I don't know.
You're like, do you even understand the rules? Do you even know what you're doing, you stupid idiot?
You guys pulled me back into that. I never wanted to get involved with referees again.
You won the MVP last year, didn't you?
I think Willie gets more angry than me.
Willie gets angry, but like in weird ways that nobody's like doesn't make any sense. Like he'll like shove somebody down, the ref will call a foul, and he'll be
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck is happening here?" Like Willie, no one
It's coming
even
from somewhere
watching.
else.
Yeah, it's like, what are you mad about right now? I don't get it.
So yeah, I just loved basketball, and that was the only thing that really kept me interested in school at all. And,
Really?
And so
You a fuck up?
So I played junior college for my dad, and we went to the national championship. We finished like 4th or 5th in the nation for
Really?
junior college. And then
Wow.
the big thing
What school was that?
Broome Junior College.
Broome Junior College.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
How hard was it to get in there if you weren't a student athlete?
You take a left at the parking lot.
Okay, that's a tough admission process.
And so then Binghamton University was going Division I, and so they had this coach who was like 75 years old, and he was the all-time winningest coach. He was like 5 wins ahead of Dean Smith, and Dean Smith was still active.
Wow, who was this?
Dick Baldwin's the guy's name. So
Who
kept
coached at
coaching.
Hofstra? Wasn't some great coach of Hofstra?
Hofstra. I'm not sure.
Didn't somebody like great end up there?
I don't know.
Bradenstein?
Older guy?
Oh, yeah.
I remember Lou Carnesecca. That was St. John's.
Yeah.
He was like the oldest guy that.
And those other guys just wound up other places like old wrestlers. Like eventually they find another job, some shitty school or high school. They're like, you still have some
that
credibility.
guy because in Maryland that was
Butch Van Bradykoff, that was his name.
Oh, right. Yeah,
I think he ended up in Hofstra. He used to coach the Knicks. That's where he came from.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I either met him once when I went to interview there at Hofstra, or I told everybody that I met him.
And
But
there was
either way, the
Jan,
memory's in my head.
His son was like
Jan
a
Van
coach,
Bradykoff.
too.
Yeah. Wow. All right, so go on. So old fucking memories coming back.
Yeah, I
still
got
care
a
about
crazy
basketball.
That's the only thing I'm nerdier than about comedy is basketball, like old Granville waiters or those kind of
What are Granville waiters?
Mike Jaminski. No, they're just all like random role playing NBA players from the 80s.
Yeah.
So then I end up I end up being like the big recruit to Binghamton University, and they're going Division I, and it's like a big deal. And,
And you were their big recruit? Like, we got this guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm the hometown kid, so all these people will come, and we've got this legendary coach. And
wow.
And
is that the process of getting into becoming a Division I thing? You have to like sell Division I on your
I
eligibility?
guess, and they were like building a new arena and all this
Okay.
kind of stuff. So then, I convinced a couple of my friends to transfer there from other places too.
Oh, really?
And so we're getting like a bunch of local,
This is the
like
original Miami Heat
yeah, not quite.
of semi-Division I.
And we all
college
lived in
basketball
an
schools.
apartment too, which is a whole other story. But so then it turns into a complete nightmare. Like I break my ankle right before the season starts.
Oh no!
But their trainer tells me no, it's just sprained.
Really?
And so like I literally
Because they needed you to play.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. It turned out like, this guy didn't even have wasn't even qualified to do this. I ended up going to like the doctors later, and he was like, "Yeah, your ankle's broken."
Shouldn't
And
be running
so-
on it.
Well, I just played through because there's nothing you can do. It was like the John Stockton thing was like a stress fracture, so you just tape it up as much as you can, ice it for an hour before. Or
But
an
like
hour
playing doesn't make it worse.
It probably wasn't good for it, but.
But I know there's some diseases where like there's nothing to do for this.
Yeah,
it's like a pulled ear muscle. They're
Right,
like, just keep going about your day and it'll get better when it gets better.
My ankle inside is about twice the size as the
Really?
other one. But I started every game for them.
Yeah.
Didn't miss a game. I even turned my ankle in a game and like hit a shot, like a big shot at the buzzer. But the season itself was a nightmare. The coach was a nightmare. He was so senile. He didn't remember anybody's name.
He didn't remember the names of the guys in his team?
It was like everything that could go wrong did, and it was just ridiculous. And I.
That was your junior year.
That was my junior year, but it was because I had transferred. So this is basically like I transferred all those credits. So I actually graduated. Like I did like a summer internship and this is how the TV thing started. The guys who covered our games, this guy who's a sports anchor, I decided to do an internship with those guys just because I thought it would be cool, you know. So I was just like, did an internship with those guys, and that was the credits that helped me graduate from Binghamton. And so at the end of the season, we were like a 500 team, and I was the only starter coming back. And the coach is like, I think you're a little too short to play here.
What?
And I was
Didn't know you started every game? Did he not realize that?
Well, that's what I said. He's like, you're a little too short to play here. We're probably going to try to recruit a bigger, taller guy. And I was just like, what the fuck?
No,
like I was literally shocked. And I'm looking at the assistant coaches who are just going along with this crazy person, because they don't want to make waves.
Who was this coach?
Which is what makes me, understand that whole Penn State thing because
nobody
that
wanted
was
him.
the same thing. This was a
He's
legendary 75-year-old guy who's out of his fucking mind.
But they were like, you just don't cross him.
And nobody wants to, like, say how crazy he is.
That's how Mitzi was, too, huh?
Well, that's what
and
I
that guy,
hear.
Lucian Hold. And
That's what, well, what's the actual state of that now? Like, she
doesn't come in anymore.
Yeah.
But, like, for a while, it was like, when I was driving her to and from the comedy store, she's the owner of the comedy store, and the only owner they've ever had. When I was driving, it's like, she would be, like, a little nutsy.
And like a mythical figure.
Yeah, but she's she's crotchety old lady. And it wasn't like she was like actually senile yet or anything, or she's still not. But like it was just like, you're a mad woman right now. Like, what are you you're firing some guy because there's a light bulb out in the front hallway? He has nothing to do with that. You're just and everyone's like, don't cross her. It'll be easier if we just fire this guy. And no one would cross them. I get that now. I understand that. Yeah. Now I get Joe Paterno. And all those people who were like, just don't.
Yeah, everyone's job's relying on this guy.
He's the king. Like, he'll take care. He'll do what's.
If he fucks over a couple people, then what's the big deal? But then when it turns out to be a huge problem, so then this is what happened, and this is I still can't believe I did this, but so they're telling me all this stuff, and for some reason, like, you know, maybe you start doubting yourself at that point, but at that point, I was just like.
That's weird. Once it gets in your head, you're like, maybe I'm not.
I was like,
qualified.
I'm a starting point guy. I only got 1 year left, and I want to have fun. You know what I mean? Like, it was obviously at that point, like, I wasn't going to play in the NBA, so I was like, I want to have, like, a really good season. You know, like, we had just been to the junior college national championship the year before. And
like, you want to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Wait, you did that with the guy who couldn't remember anybody's name?
No, that was my dad. But the Binghamton year.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So basically, I'm already graduated. I'll just be taking classes, and I have a year of basketball. It's the only reason I'm coming back to school.
It's to play ball.
Yeah. So then during that summer,
on a free ride.
Well, no, it's Division III. So I got some, you know, they give you loans and stuff like that, and you have a fake job. I had some job in a fitness center and that'd
be enough to pay for school to keep you in to play basketball.
Yeah, it was a state school, so it was only like.
In-state, the state school, yeah.
Yeah,
that's how Maryland was. Like, it's a few grand. Get a job and you're fine.
Well, you get you get paid per diem, like, you know, you get paid per week when, like, before and during Christmas break, so you get like $300 a week or something.
I remember those jobs too. They'd be like, we'll give you $200, and like you'll get $5 an hour, but we'll also put another $5 an hour towards your tuition. I used to always one of those jobs. Like, all right, well, that's
it was just
awesome.
all kinds of funny business that I didn't really.
Yeah, you had no reason to be in college.
But I got paid for a job that I didn't do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I did my jobs. Really? You didn't? It was just
it was like a fitness center, and there's 5 people on a shift, so 2 of them would show up and cover for everybody else, or however it would work. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to get in trouble, so I showed up, as far as I know. So
I like that.
So then, so I play in the summer league with this guy, who just had gotten this Cortland State job, which is where my dad played. It's like a half hour from Binghamton, and it's in the same conference.
Okay.
SUNY Cortland, and it's a big part. That's where Tripoli's from, Cortland.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a big like party school and fun. A bunch of my friends went there.
It's a party Division III school?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I guess I should have those too. Why not? Booze is universal.
And it's like I'm trying to think who else went there. Kevin James went there. Like,
oh, really?
It's like a PE school. Like, and so.
What was the major called for all the athletes that they took?
It was communications.
No, it wasn't. But it was something to do with physicality and like.
Oh. Physical therapy, or that's hard.
No, it wasn't physical therapy. It was one of those like that, but it was like kinesiology. That's what it was.
Oh, that sounds hard.
It sounds hard, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
That was a study of movement or something like that, and it was like all the athletes would do that at communications. It was just like learn what muscles you have,
right,
and you're good.
Huh? No, so I got my degree from Binghamton is in literature and rhetoric.
Rhetoric?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds impressive. I don't know what rhetoric is yet. And then,
debate.
So then I go to, this guy, he's like 35 or 36 at the time, gets the head coaching job at Cortland State, and doesn't have any players.
Yeah.
And so I end up like.
And so you knew him. So he was like.
I ended up playing against him. This guy was still a pretty good player, and he's actually one of the guys who played on like that Washington Generals team that plays against the Globetrotters, like. That loses to the Globetrotters every
He's on
game.
that team?
He played for a couple of seasons.
What was the deal? You got an invite to that?
Yeah, after college, that was like
All right, well,
my
let's get
only
to that.
option. Yeah,
All right, let's get to that one later, but let's get to it.
So then I end up I meet with the people at Cortland. They literally, and I'm still indebted to these people. They got me into school in like 4 days.
Yeah, it's really late, too.
Yeah.
By that time to
in
transfer.
August, they get me into school. Like the athletic director, like the president. Like it's still those people are great people, and I love the school. And it was like one of the best things that happened to me. So like two of
Who
my
was this
best
guy?
friends.
What was his name?
The coach or the
coach, the guy that got
coach
you in.
Tom Spanbauer is still the coach now.
Oh, wow. That's
And
cool. It's
so
like 20 years later.
yeah, well he was only 30. He was
Really?
younger than
He's
me
one of
when
those
he got the
lifer
job.
guys?
Yeah.
I love stories like that.
And so so I ended up transferring there, like literally. And my two best friends at the time were going to school there, and they still didn't believe me. I'm like, no, I'm transferring here because they used to hang out with me in Binghamton. They're like, no way. And
Why?
I,
Is it some tiny shitty school?
No, but it's just they really wanted me to play basketball there.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, I can finish a communications degree in like 2 semesters or something.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and I just want to play basketball for 1 year, you know?
Yeah.
And I was a starting point guard for all these colleges, so the coach is like, all right,
He's got the resume.
let's do it. And so
He's 7 years older than
so
everybody
I
at this
end up
point.
transferring there, and then we get to play Bingham.
And there's no rules that you have to sit for a year.
No,
in
as long as
Division
you're the same. No, like, yeah, as long as you're the same level, you don't have to sit out.
III. Okay.
So we end up playing Binghamton twice.
Your old school?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
Was that on the schedule?
Yeah. And so
Because you're in the conference.
that was even in, like, they even did that, like, on one of the TV stations, like, a date to mark down, you know, Morrissey
Paul
will be
Morrissey
back.
makes
Yeah.
his return
And
on
so-
the opposing bench this time.
And it was so, I gotta tell you, it's like one of the biggest, because it's like those are the things that give you confidence. Like, man, these guys really counting me out. And
Yeah, and you want
to
to show
be
it
like,
to them.
to prove them all, like, I'm the starting point guard for these guys, and they're still like, you're too short and too slow. It's just like, how many times you gotta prove somebody wrong to do it? So then we play them the first time.
They told you that, though, after they saw you play.
Yeah, that's the thing that's crazy. That's why I'm never surprised with anything in show business. You can have the greatest show in the world, and still someone will be like, he's not our cup of tea or something.
Yeah.
You just got to play for the people, play the clubs that want to have you there, basically.
My
You
thing
know
is
what I mean?
always like, it's an opinion, and you're totally allowed to have an opinion.
Right.
But you don't like my kind of thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
There's some people who love prop comedy, and that's their thing they love.
Right.
That's allowed. But then you're probably not going to like what I do then.
Yeah.
That's usually really clean.
And you can't, there's no way of convincing those
Yeah,
people.
it's okay.
You know?
I always compare it to this. If I told a chef, like a fine chef, and he made this awesome like dish for me of like, what I don't know, let's say it was trout, and it's beautiful, and I'd be like, oh, I don't like fish.
Right.
And he'd be like, yeah, what? Are you saying I'm not a good chef? I'm like, I'm sure you're a great chef. I just don't like fish.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to enjoy it, no matter what.
Right. That's why I'm like with wine.
like, all right,
I'm not
you
a wine
should- yeah.
person, but my buddy's like a sommelier or whatever, and he's just like, no, I have the greatest thing, and it's like,
Sommelier
it's
is
gonna
his
be completely wasted on me.
Yeah.
Like you're just wasting hundreds of dollars, and
I'm
everyone.
not. It's all
yeah.
going to taste like wine to me.
Yeah. It's gonna taste like church or
Yeah.
something.
And I'm sure your wine is better. I just would have no. It's going to taste like church. Exactly.
Not that you would know that.
I went once.
Okay.
I did it once in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Natasha took me.
Just for the wine?
It was that gigantic church that JFK got married in.
One of the old Catholic scary
yeah.
ones.
And then I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll get the wine and the cracker. Let me see what this shit's all about. And they were handing it. Some people were probably taking the cracker and they put it on their tongue. Other people were like, take it out of the lady's hand.
Yeah.
And then put it on tongue themselves. I was like, no. Here's my tongue. You put it on there.
Right.
We're doing this the right way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
lit a
Let me
couple
drink
candles.
out of that.
Yeah, it's
That
actual
cup
wine.
that
Like,
900 people drink out of. I'm sure that's safe.
oh, I didn't drink out of that. They poured it in. Oh, you're right. They poured it into little throwaway cups. The little tiny.
Oh, really?
That's like the
So
cough
they're ahead
syrup
of their
cups.
time. I guess
Yeah.
New York City was.
This is probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, New York City like invented AIDS pretty much. So they take care of like, oh, let's give it a little.
Is that
clean.
in Wikipedia?
Share your needles outside,
We
but
invented
in here,
AIDS.
let's not. They pretty much did.
Yeah. So we ended up playing Binghamton twice. In the first game, I pretty much lit them up, and I think I had like 18 or 20
Yeah.
points, and we beat them.
Wow.
And
what did you say anything to the coach after that? To the
well,
opposing coaches?
here was the thing. So the big newspaper article was, they're like, "Hey, you're the starting point guard here. Why did you leave?" And all I said was, well, the coach told me I was too short and too slow to play here.
Oh, that's great.
So that ends up being like the huge story.
Yeah, it
so
should
they
be.
ask him, and they're like, "No, I thought he wanted to leave because of academics." And then
they go back to you like, "No, I actually already graduated." So
they didn't
no.
go back, but then it was already slowly like there's a bunch of weird stuff that was coming out that this guy was kind of, I don't want to
If you
go
tell me
into,
he
but
touched kids right now,
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
lose my
no,
mind.
no.
I'm gonna be like, "This is the
Nothing like
greatest
that.
story ever." Yeah.
But I'll tell you off. But it was basically like his dealing.
Just tell
with-
me. Who cares?
No,
The guy's already dead by now, probably.
I don't think so. He's still there.
Really?
But, no, he's still around somewhere.
Put his name out.
I think the gym is Dick Baldwin. I think the
thanks.
gym is still named after.
Really?
him.
Who cares? That's what he told you. Fucking put it out.
Yeah. So that was it. So then all this other stuff came out. Like he was just treating other players really bad, and it was
Really?
just miserable. So then he ended up. We play him a second time that season.
Yeah.
And
he
we play
boxing
him
one
at
on you?
Portland. Yeah. How
Did he
you know?
really?
How
I'm
did
just
you-
guessing because he'd be like, that fucking kid. Because he must have caught heat from what you said.
And I even said that.
And so he's like, I don't care what happens. I don't care. We'll lose. That kid is not scoring.
Yeah. The first time I was trying to be good. Although some of my friends are like, because I was like pretty notorious trash talker, like just funny. So they're like,
You do it in the league sometimes where somebody will like,
not much.
Like,
I
once in a
really-
while, someone will get you on a crossover or someone will just drive by you. One of those things, and he'll like say something, and then you'll be like, I'm scoring this time against you.
Right. Yeah,
Like, that's what's going to happen.
I'll turn on once in a while, but
Yeah.
these like people who played with me anywhere would be like, I can't believe you're so quiet now. Like if they look at me now, they'd be like, because there's like, there'd be a kid that was like,
But
his
you have an
hometown
ego
game,
too. That's what
and
it
it'd be
is.
like, I'm pissing all over your kid. Like I would talk to their parents and stuff. It was really
Really?
bad. Yeah.
Wow.
And so, so the first game, I think I behaved pretty well, but then the second game was at Cortland.
Uh-huh.
And so that was my crowd.
And they boxed you.
So he plays boxing one on me. And then
Hold on, I want to explain what boxing is, so people know. Usually, if it's 5-on-5, it is 5-on-5. You can play a zone, or you can play everyone takes a man. A zone is everyone just takes a position, and you guard your area. And a man-to-man is you guard each man. A boxing one is you have an area, and then one guy stays on one guy.
Just on one, like even if I'm out in the lobby, he's like on me.
So
And
like
then
I would guard. Well, it wouldn't be someone like me, but somebody fast would guard Morrissey,
And just,
he
like,
also
beat in my
has to
face,
he has to compete with me and the zone that's there
Right.
for anybody that goes.
So
to the
everybody
area.
else is like wide open to shoot whenever they want, but
Yeah.
just as long as I don't score.
Yeah, it opens things up for everybody else.
And so, and even at that, like I was a leading
Shoot the Wilt
scorer on
Chamberlain
the
and
team.
get 50 assists.
But I was like, I think I was averaging like 16 or 17 a game my
Assists?
senior year. No, just points.
Oh, points. Okay.
And
I was like, whoa.
and so I had two other great shooters on my team, so they lit them up. And then I still had 14.
Yeah.
But that was the game where I went over to the bench. I never really said anything to him. I was like,
14 out of what? 60, 70? What'd you guys score usually?
oh yeah. We had pretty high scoring team.
Oh, really?
And so then so I'm like, I'm not even good enough to be on your fucking team, and you're playing a boxing one on me. And I said it in front of all the players, all the people that were from that school, like right to him.
During
and
the game?
And he said nothing.
What,
yeah.
What point was this?
This is like right when the game started.
You see the
because-
boxing one and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, really, motherfucker?
Yeah, I think it was right. Like I'm standing away from
Goddamn
everybody.
Dick Baldwin. Motherfucker.
And it was so great. And then he got fired at the end of the season, or
Really?
left, or pushed out, or whatever story they want to say. But it was like,
It's one of those things where I'm sure the president's catch a little flack for that too. Like, what are you doing, man?
well,
What are you doing? Really?
they've had like the worst. Like when they finally went to Division I, they got all these criminals, and like they got busted for like there was guys selling drugs. There was like
on the team?
prostitution. There was like all kinds of stuff. Like every coach, president, everybody got fired like in the last 2 years. Like they're on probation now, so it's like it's not even.
Oh.
And you know who the head coach is now? It's Mark Maron, or not Mark Maron.
What? That'd be awesome. I didn't even know he did that.
Mark
He never
Maron.
barely ever talks
He knows
about it.
anything about basketball. Mark Macon.
Wait,
Remember him
hold on.
from Temple? He was like that big
Oh
star.
yeah, he was a black guy, right?
Probably.
He was one of the last
No, he
guys
was, yeah.
under the owl, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, John Chaney.
John Chaney.
Yeah.
He was one of his last guys, right?
Yeah. He was like their star.
He was great.
Yeah,
he lit up anybody.
And he came out
like
after his sophomore year. He was like the first guy to come out
to do that.
But I still haven't met. Like,
Never really made it as a pro, huh?
I have a decent relationship with like the people from the school, but the Cortland basketball people are still like my guys. Like I'll work their camp and
oh really?
Yeah. It was like the funnest time. We had a great team. We I had a great year.
And also you played for 4 different schools, so it's not like you would have like 3 years at one place and then you transferred.
And that was like way before anybody. Like now it's pretty normal for people to transfer and stuff. But back then, like you just stayed at the same school for 4 years.
Because like why not get your degree, play your basketball, and get out of here?
Well, it was also that thing like. Everything was based on seniority, kind of. Because remember, like they used to not even let freshmen play, like on the team in college. Like when Bill Walton,
they had
UCLA. Like
the junior basketball team. Carolina
well, you would just be able to practice, but you couldn't play in the.
You couldn't play at all.
No.
Wow.
And so that's why, like, a lot of those guys set those records in like 3 years. You know, like. Yeah, Kareem and all those guys. So it's like. So when I first started, like even at that Hartwick College, it was like freshmen don't start, freshmen don't play. Like you got to pay your dues, just like in comedy. You know, they're like, oh, you haven't been doing this long enough.
That's how it is in college football. They're like, you don't play until you're a junior,
right?
You don't.
And it's just like, well, why the fuck not? Like if you're good enough, you should just play. So I just that was my attitude at that point. It was like, I'll take care of the schoolwork and I'll just go where I can play. Like that was the Binghamton thing that I'm not.
If that's what you really like doing.
Yeah.
If that's your focus, like then it's like, yeah, who cares? You can
I'm not going to convince this old fucking guy that I can play. Like I'm just going to go somewhere where somebody knows. So. Wow.
How did it feel when we got to throw it back in his face like that?
It was awesome. It's still like one of the, it's like, what is it, a seminal moment or like just like a turning point? It's like. You're college kids, you don't have so much confidence, really.
Yeah, and somebody shoots your confidence down like that.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, maybe they're right, and then you just prove everybody wrong. It's like, all right, well, it kind of sets you up for the rest of the stuff. So that's what I ended up just staying at Cortland. I was a grad assistant coach for a year, so I was like a legitimate like coach and recruited players and all that kind of stuff, and did practice every day. But it was just kind of I don't know. I was just I'd been in upstate New York for
so long.
Yeah, and so one of my friends was moving to Phoenix, and me and my other friend just decided to like go out there for like a couple months, and I had like a lead, like I had a internship.
This is right after.
After the year of coaching, like I finished the year playing, and had I worked the summer, and then I decided to just coach for a year.
Where'd you coach? Just
at Cortland.
Okay.
Yeah, at the same school.
They
I just stayed there.
Assistant.
Yeah, grad assistant, and so that was fun.
Yeah, why not hire you?
Well, and that was the thing is like at that point, my only 2 options. I had a guy that played he was my JV high school coach, had played in Ireland like professionally.
Yeah. Wow.
So those were the 2 options I could have played, maybe in Ireland or for the Washington Generals, which is the team that gets beat by the Globetrotters every game. Which looking back on my comedy career would have been fucking awesome to do it for like a month.
Oh yeah, just for the experience.
But at that point, and I had friends of mine that did it for a couple years and just had fun with it. But I was like, I can't lose. Like I can't be a professional loser. Like it's got to take its
They finally
toll
got their
on you.
first win.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah, they let them win once just to make some interest in the.
There's a buddy of mine that his dad played on the Generals like in the 60s.
Also, you respect the rules too much to play for the Generals. Those people were constantly double dribbling that weren't called. You can't walk with the ball on your shirt. That's just a travel.
The first guy that does the rubber band.
That's illegal. That is not allowed. And then the Westwood Institute, I saw it recently. It was on TV, and the Westwood Institute new rules. They're like, okay, if you mess with me, you're gonna sit in a timeout corner. And they'd have it was like hockey where you have to sit in like a penalty box for like a minute,
like eating people's popcorn and stuff.
Yeah, and do that. And it was just because you did something to the ref where you're like, hey, look that way, and you pull the coin out of his ear or something. And he's like, I told you, get in the box.
Because I would be the guy that was like, all right, I think tonight we can take him, man. Don't listen to anybody.
Don't throw it. Don't throw it. Are we going to be men? Yeah, you would convince them all to play one game.
One of my buddies.
Somebody should do a movie about that. Just the Washington Generals. Just going, fuck it, guys. We have a good squad right now. Look, we can take them.
Well, that's what this guy.
Half of us are retiring anyway. Let's just do it.
my buddy's dad played for them like in the '60s, and it still wasn't like 100% like this is kind of a joke. We're still like kind of playing the games a little bit.
Yeah.
And I guess one night they're like, "All right, if you can take him tonight, take him." And then
Really?
he was like, and we choked so bad. We played so horrible. We got beat by 30. I was like, oh, you get that one chance.
And they got dominated.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, all right, thank you, everybody.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody.
That's Paul Morrissey. Okay.
And that's Ari.
Okay, goodbye.
I'm doing my groove like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
All right, that's it. Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank number 33 in the books. I still don't know what I'm going to call it. Something about basketball. So that's it, everybody. Go to arithegreat.com for extra details on this. I'll try to post some clips of Morrissey's. And then check back here on iTunes or on my website. On Wednesday, I'll have the next episode up with Morrissey, all about his sports journalism career. And then on Friday I'll have some extra features. It's like a 2-hour long discussion about us and going to New York, doing comedy in New York, and about Catholicism. And I shit all over him for being Catholic. And that's it. Please subscribe to these, and please tell your friends. If you enjoy it, tell your friends. Let them know, what's out there. I could use some extra listeners. All right, everybody. Have a good day. I'll see you Wednesday.
Sometimes I feel the dream is real.
The shots I make, nobody else will take.